Hello, this is Danny Palacio, and this is a spark to ponder and to reflect on. It's a question that I will present and then share a bit of information on, and the rest is up to you. So I hope that this spark leads you to something new, something maybe even provocative in your awareness. So this is part of a Waking Moment podcast where I release weekly episodes on bigger topics and much longer conversations. But I want to offer this short spark to add to your day and to your week. So, this is about boundaries. Yes, big topic, lots to talk about, lots to ponder. But today, the question is, do you know your boundaries? Can you, in this moment, think about boundaries you have in your life that enable you to have more self care, more self love, clarity between you and another, whether that be a family member, a friend, a coworker, even someone random that you don't know, maybe at the grocery store, and your partner? Do you have boundaries that are clear, that are well communicated, and that you have demonstrated to that other person what these boundaries mean to you and what your expectation is? You've heard it before. Communication is the key, and it really is. I don't believe that you can over communicate. Maybe you can not have marathon communications, but you can have conversations that communicate your heart, that allow another person to see you, allow another person to love you. And in return, you're giving love, and you're also expressing your desire to know them. And so let's talk a little bit about boundaries. I want to give some context and some information if you haven't really had this conscious thought about, do you know what your boundaries are? And what is a boundary? Well, there's all kinds of types of boundaries. Um, did not memorize them all, so I'm going to take a quick look at my notes. So I'm going to also put a chart up here with a list of all the boundaries. And but think about it. There's physical boundaries. How do you and another interact physically? There are boundaries on the emotional side when you're feeling frustrated, or you're feeling scared, or you're feeling intense joy or pleasure. What's the boundary there, right? There's a time boundary, a finance boundary, there's a spiritual boundary. And it's really to help you and another be very clear on how you want to interact and how you relate. And so, the other thing I want to talk about a boundary is to just read you a short definition, which again, I'll post up here. Personal boundaries are limits and rules we set for ourselves and for others. So, they are something that is important to you, something that enables you to feel safe and to feel centered and to feel seen and respected. And so when we don't know what our boundaries are, we're kind of like a fish out of water. We flop all over the place, and it causes great confusion for ourselves and for others in our lives. And so even if you come up with just a few quick boundaries that are more than a preference. This is what I think a lot of people do. They think, oh, she just prefers that. It's not a rule, and that word rule can be triggering for some. So again, call it a boundary, and embrace that the boundary that you have created potentially could grow and shift as you grow and shift. So you don't have to be locked in 100% for the rest of your life. From this point forward, for the rest of my life, I'm going to have this boundary. That may be true, but it more than likely isn't. It probably will shift and change a bit. Maybe they'll even get more crisp, more clear in what it actually means for you as you experience it and develop it. So, again, this week's spark is, do you know what your boundaries are? And if you don't, please take a moment and ponder. And even as you go through the next day or so, keep it in the back of your mind. What are boundaries? What are mine? And maybe write them down. Sometimes it's really good to I like to brainstorm. And so I like to get out a clean piece of paper and one of my favorite pens and sit and just write. Give myself 3 minutes, 5 minutes. If I've got a lot of time, give myself 15 to just dump the brain out, write out all the potential boundaries that you have, and then sit with them. Don't do anything with them after you're done writing. Come back to them the next day, look at them, read them out loud. It changes the energy of them, and see what comes up as your priorities. What's the number one boundary, if you had it and you communicated it and people honored it and you ensured that people honored it because you taught them what it means? Would it change your life? Would it give you what you've been longing for? Boundaries are important. And again, they give us the opportunity to live our truth, to have more self love, to have more self awareness, to understand our own worth and our value. And they do that by creating opportunities for clarity and an opportunity to share that clarity with another. So I hope that you will take this opportunity for yourself and really answer the question, do you know what your boundaries are? And please feel free to share them in the comments. And you can also email me awakingmoment@gmail.com, and I'll have that on the screen as well as in the summary notes. So take care, and I look forward to connecting. Thanks.